And we're back here, second hour main event. Wednesday, look, Tuesday's Bruce Cooper. Wednesday's Mike Sheahan. Thursday's Lou.
But every day,
Dale Hellestrae.
yes, sir.
Well, sometimes part-time Wednesdays, every once in a while. Thursdays, he's not here for a little bit. Do we have to do all those caveats in there? Hey, fresh off the 56-14 victory over Glendale, a preparatory academy. Coach Mike Sheahan joins us every Wednesday. Here we go. Let's go.
There he is. It's still on. It's back up just a little. There you go. There you go.
Oh man.
All right, so we're going to start off this way, Mike, because there have been a couple notable coaches who've lost it on the media this past week in college. The LSU coach and Dabo Sweeney says, "You want to fire me? Go ahead and fire me," and whatever. So we're gonna try and get you riled up. Why do you guys keep running the score up on people, man? I mean, it's high school football. Be nice.
Stop. See, you are trying to get me riled up.
The number one question on Twitter, Coach, by the way. Yeah.
Oh man, Twitter was a fun one yesterday, right? Like everybody just woke up and chose violence, and I'm just sitting here going to practice. Obviously, you guys chose violence today too. I don't think we're running it up on anybody. I think the boys are playing well, and we try to sub in, sub out pretty quick, and we have a decent amount of depth, so it helps.
Yeah.
It helps. So
no,
that's
obviously teasing there because I don't know if you've seen those two press conferences. I mean, Kelly down at LSU lost it on a reporter after a win, and Dabo Sweeney's saying, "Hey, if you don't want to win, go ahead and really, fire me and whatever." So. All right, well, let's look back before we look forward. Obviously, a comfortable win. You come out of the game healthy, number one.
Yep, we did. We came out pretty healthy. Lots of good reps for everybody, and healthy as we can be. We got a couple guys dinged up prior that we're trying to help get back, but that just helps create depth, right?
Okay.
Now, I asked this last week, and I'm more intrigued this week again, right? So you have some seniors on this team. And you have some pertinent seniors on this team that, they've been part of the team before, so it's not like, this is their chance, right, to get on there. But obviously Everett Salazar, right, you're running back there, 11 carries, 136 yards. Sean Helgeson, there, your quarterback, 8 of 12 for 164 yards. With these victories, you got to hold them back a little bit. Obviously, they want to have a superior senior year. They want to, get as many carries as they can. And things like that. I mean, second week in a row now, second question in a row on this, keeping those guys grounded and understanding the plan. What's that going like? And I'm not attacking them, by the way, saying they're going to be bad about it.
No, it's good. And I think they wrestle with that, right? So kids get used to like wanting to look at their own stats and do those things and have bigger stats. But we do try to drill into them. At the end of the day, it's a team game, right? So if you look at our wide receiver position, yards per game, the most is Stefan. The most touchdowns is Dickerson. The most receptions is Murphy, and the most yards per catch is Olafson. So it's spread pretty well, and we don't need to necessarily throw a bunch right now. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like those guys aren't getting paid that much. We're trying to keep the ball on the ground a little bit more, grind the clock out a little bit, and Everett Everett put a lot of work in, right? So you got to pay him too. You try to pay everybody. It's very hard. Nathaniel Elrod missed 2 games. He still got 3 touchdowns. So it's tough. I've kind of talked about it with the boys this week. It's a great question you had because I do want to spread the ball around a little bit. We do want to get some more guys, some more touches because we know at the end of the day, they do care about their stats as much as we try to downplay those. Of course you care about them, right? We care about stats as like, my stat is the win column, right? That's a big deal to me. So it's, it's one of those things where I think we just keep talking about it and our boys are pretty grounded and they love each other, care about each other. So sharing the wealth has been pretty decent. It's gone pretty decent so far.
Well,
Honestly.
I want to clarify one thing. When you're saying you want to pay these guys, you're saying you want to reward them, right?
Yes, hold on. Here's the clip from somebody that doesn't like me, of course. So it'll end up
You're
on
wanting to
Twitter.
reward them for their hard work.
Yeah, reward them with like handshakes and like high fives.
Yeah.
Like that's it. You know what I mean? Like maybe like I don't know, a good job thrown in there. That's how we pay them, right?
Okay,
You
all
get
right.
paid in at the end of the game when there's a win on the scoreboard. That's how you get paid technically.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of the scoreboard, we gotta talk about this. I saw videos of it. I wasn't there on Friday night. I had a family thing I had to go do down there in Queen Creek High School and everything. All right, best. And I've been to a lot of stadiums, and best. Absolutely, the videos you're playing on that thing, ridiculous, man, ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like it was my vision after last season to kind of do something bigger. Like obviously, like I love this school, right? And I love these boys and I love this whole entire program. So what I'm trying to do is bring more of a game day experience to the families too, right? So we can bring more to the school. And it doesn't just benefit football, it benefits soccer and softball plays in that field and middle school soccer, and then track is out there sometimes, and there's homecoming week where everybody's doing everything this week. So honestly, I think the scoreboard has actually exceeded my expectations. I thought it'd be super cool. It's actually way cooler than I thought it was going to be. It's pretty impressive. It's crazy what we have at this little school right now.
Hey, I'm going to compliment you here because I had a couple beers with some older SCA dads whose kids played athletics, who played who their kids played athletics, and you have single-handedly turned SCA from a basketball, baseball school to a football school in about 3 years. Because SCA, the whole time I was there, my daughters were there, it was basketball, and it was that baseball and football was kind of an afterthought. Just talk about, from your perspective, how you've been able to do that.
Thank you for the compliment, first of all, Dale. I do appreciate it, and honestly, you're a huge part of that. So just know that. I feel like I don't feel like I'm just a football coach there. I feel like I care about the school. Like I said, I used to go to all Kendall's games, right? So I'd go to all the games with you. We'd sit up there. I watched all the basketball games for all the years. My heart is at SCA, right? I'm a Christian. I'm a believer. I'm all those things. And I'm full about SCA. Like I don't ever want to go anywhere else. So my thing is like I love football. I love growing men. I love SCA. So my thing is I just want to give the boys the best experience humanly possible. And it's hard to do. It's exhausting. But I also run it like a business. I feel like if you surround yourself with great guys, great coaches, like especially over the last couple of years, we've been able to build this thing with great coaching and great staff. And we've always had the kids in the program. It was just kind of getting them out and getting them to buy into football. And I think as football coaches, a lot of the times, I'm going to go off on a little tangent right now, so I appreciate this question. But I think as football coaches, sometimes, you feel like you need to be a grinder. You got to be a tough guy, or you got to do this, that, and the other with the kids to get them to do all this. And I think this era of young men is so different. You've got to make things fun. You got to make things constantly competition. So we're competing all day in practice. I'm trying to do things for them. We got a new field last year. We got a new scoreboard this year. We added black jerseys this year. I did the helmets different this year. Like it's exhausting, and it's not necessarily stuff I want to do, but I think it's stuff that like help these boys want to be there. And it helps the basketball kids come out and play football. It helps the baseball kids come out and play football. I think just running it like a business, but also loving football, being a believer, being at SCA, and having a lot of love for SCA. I think that's what kind of does it. It's kind of a perfect storm for me because I love it. The kids are amazing. All the families are awesome. So we might as well just try to build this thing as big as humanly possible. If that's a long answer, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, you've definitely I've only been in, around the program for 2 years, 3 years now. And I've seen a market uptick. Now, when we show up, me and Autumn show up to games, it's parents are talking like we have to go. Like we don't have kids here, we're here for the coaches and stuff like that. So the program has changed. It has been a noticeable change going into it from a small school. It's kind of like a Pima would be, right, where the community comes together. That whole community just comes together, up there in Scottsdale. from that side. I bring up the kids right there. We're talking about 16, 15, 16, 17, maybe 18-year-old kids here, keeping them focused with the way you're playing right now, winning games handily and things like that. Talk to me about the coaching staff a little bit here. Sometimes coaches start to feel their oats a little bit as their players are playing well to get them out there. So talk about your coaching staff. Do you have to have conversations with them at all about keeping up the standards? It's easy to let things slip. Like, oh, we'll let that missed block go because we won, by 50 points last week.
Yeah, I think Dale, you're still on the text thread. I don't know if you silenced it yet by now, or you still kind of follow it or whatever. But it's we're a pretty grounded group. I think the coaches. Here's a good thing about SCA. And people from the outside might not feel this way, or they kind of look at us in one certain way. But all these coaches do is care about the boys. Like, for instance, Coach Taylor, right? Like Coach Hellestrae's son-in-law loves the boys, will do anything for those boys, puts more time in. Like, it makes me an emotional guy. It does, because seeing what these dudes do and what Dale did, and the heart and the love that you put into these kids. We have phenomenal coaches. But what we do is have better men doing it with love in their heart to be able to coach these guys. They happen to coach X's and O's too. Like Coach Clark is he's a buddy of mine forever. He's our defensive coordinator. He's out there, but I love him to death. And he freaking loves these kids. And he puts in so much effort and so much film. And then Coach Martin absolutely loves it. You know what I mean? We have dudes that love not only football, but are deep in their faith and love these boys. Am I answering your question? I don't even know
Yeah,
if I am.
no, you're good.
Like,
yeah.
I think Coach Jackson, who is our secondary coach, every time there's an interception, like, he takes care of these boys. Like, our coaches genuinely love the players, and the players love them back. And I think that's something you can't get in a lot of places. I almost kind of touched on it earlier. Everybody wants to be tough with guys and be a tough guy as a coach and do all these things. But if you lead with love, like we do as a staff, I think it goes a lot further than anything else. So I think Coach Martin, Coach Atkins, Coach Salazar was an ad this year. He's been great too. Coach Flowers, everybody that we have on staff is really caring and loving, and a great coach at the same time. So we're lucky.
Are you going to give Coach Gilbreth any love, or is he?
Yeah, Coach Sorry, yes. Like, that's what I was literally going through my head.
I know. Once you start naming them, you have to name them all, Mike.
No, I know, it's so hard. So thank you. Yes, like Coach Gilbert's awesome. Obviously, he's my assistant head coach, and like, he's been awesome. He waddles out there. We make sure that I'm trying to get him in shape. He does so much for the program, but in practice, he's the guy that spots the ball in 2-minute drill and all that stuff.
No.
Oh, it's like waddling. Our 2-minute drill, the offense isn't at an advantage because he doesn't move that fast. But I love him to death. He's been awesome for us. He's retired now, which he's lucky, but he gets to be there a little bit more, and the love that he shows these boys. And what's cool about him is, and same thing with Dale, like, as a coach, you try to have your finger like on everything and know what's going on. But, the relationship that these coaches are building with these kids outside of there too, they love them. They'll come tell you about something that these great conversations, like Dale had them all the time, right? You have these conversations with kids, you build these things. Like Coach Gilbreth is another one. Like, he loves these boys, right? So it's a blessing. Every single one of them we're blessed to have, and it's awesome. These kids are lucky. So's the school.
Well, you got to take off here shortly, so let's get into this week's game, man. Fountain Hill's coming up this week, 7 p.m. Did you say it's homecoming this week?
It is homecoming, so it's going to be tons of nonsense. So if you're coming, park early. And I know all the people that don't want to even hear me on this aren't coming, but if you want to come early if you want.
Most of the people that watch come to the games, I have a feeling. I know there's other ones out there. Well, you've got another one, Falcons there, Fountain Hills, starting their season 0-4 coming into this. They redid, here's my question. They redid the schedules to try to make it more competitive in the regular season. For a lot of this is this just a byproduct of, a down year in 2A overall? Like, nobody saw Pima doing what they're doing this year, for instance, and things like that? Or what's the byproduct here going into this game and the mindset?
I kind of like the byproduct. So that's a great question about 2A. I think the tides are turning a little bit. Like, there's some teams that are becoming better. Some teams, like, it's especially rural schools. I think Pima's going to be right back there at the end, right? So they have another quarterback. They haven't had that stuff. They'll get better as they go. But St. John's is a phenomenal team up there. So they're tough. And I remember in 2010, we went up there in the semifinals of SCA and we got beat by them up in St. John's. They're a great football team. Coach Morgan's back up there. Freaking Santan Charter's awesome again. Like their program's great. They're big. They're huge in the weight room. Got great athletes.
Are they
out
still
there, too.
2A or did they move up to 3A?
No, they're 2A.
Oh,
They're
so
2A.
they brought them back down? Okay.
They were denied to move up to 3A.
Okay.
So I don't know why they did that, but whatever that is. But they're a great football team. I think you've got Phoenix Christian, who's 4-0 right now. They're a great football team in building. So there's great coaches at these schools. And I think what you can notice is where the good coaches are. Sorry about the dog. Sonny. Sorry. Sorry about the dog. If you can hear that.
I was going to say, was that a dog?
Sonny, come here. My 9-month-old freaking lab. She's nuts.
Oh, yeah. They never settle down either. Yes.
Oh, dude. She's crazy. I'm not going to do anything to her. I love my dog. But as far as Fountain Hills, we're preparing as much possible. I know they're 0-4. They're a good football team. The coaching staff's a bunch of good dudes over there. But honestly, what we're trying to do right now is concentrate on ourselves. We're competing day in and day out in our practices. Everything is offense versus defense. And if the defense loses, they got to run gassers, and that means the coach is including on the defensive side. So we're trying to create a lot of competition.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Paul Clark is running?
Oh, dude.
No.
It took about an hour and a half, but he ran a gasser. So we do our quick start to start practice. And so we do 3 series. So we start full speed. We don't go into individual anything. We start full speed to start practice. Warm-ups, we're game style. We do 3 series. If the offense wins 2 out of 3, the defense has got to run. If the defense wins 2 out of 3, the offense got to run, including the coaches. Offense won yesterday. It was a 4th and 15 from like the midfield, and they chunked it deep to Stephen to score to make it 2 out of 3. And Coach Clark, he got beat by everybody else, but he finished. That belly crossed the line about 10 yards before his feet did, but he got there.
All right. I know you got to leave early today. One quick question. You've always been a guy who wants to play a tough schedule that will hopefully pay off when the playoffs come around. Any concern about the competition you faced and whatever, whereas the last couple of years, lost a couple games early in the season against good competition? Any concern there?
It's a little bit, yes, right? So I wish I don't want to say this in a negative way, right? Like I want to be challenged a little bit more than we have been. Yeah. Let's say that, right? Yeah. So I think we've been challenged in a lot of ways because some of the teams are so good at what they do. We're just trying to take away those certain things, and maybe that's what we're working on throughout those games. So what we have to do is kind of work on certain things. Like I think Glendale Prep's a pretty good football team. I really do. I think our boys right now are fired up and feel like they're being what's the word I'm looking for? Slept on, right? They feel slept on no matter how much everybody talks about us or says how good we are. No one ever wants us to be good. So they want to talk about us like we're not. And I feel like that gives good motivation to the boys and gets them going. I don't even know if I'm tangent.
Well,
right?
I mean, just to put a thing to that, that was going to be my final question. Fountain Hills this week, and I don't mean to overlook them at all, but they struggle to score some points, in their games and everything. But then after that, you got Chino Valley at Chino Valley. They're 3-1 on the season. Yep. Cortez is unfortunately having a bad year. But then you got Phoenix Christian and Camp Verde coming up as well. 3-1, 4-0 between those two teams coming up on that side. So keeping that focus leading into those games. It's kind of my leading questions into this here. Not that you're looking ahead to those games, but using that as motivation. Going into this week, this is our last game before we hit some of those teams that'll compete with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think and I think Fountain Hills will compete, right? It just depends on like how well we play, right? So anybody can compete with anybody in high school. It just depends on who shows up, right? But I think like you said, our schedule is not going to get easier towards the end. I think it's going to get much harder, which maybe that's going to play in our favor, right? If we drop one, sometimes that's good, right? And we've talked about it in the past. If you lose one, sometimes it's kind of one of the best things that could ever happen. Obviously, last year, it was very beneficial in the year before. So, you don't necessarily want to go undefeated throughout a season. Like, we're going to be challenged. I know we're going to be challenged. I know we're going to be hit in the mouth by a couple of these teams coming up. I do know that. So that's maybe instead of it was front loaded, I had to front load it the last couple of years because of like how our schedule worked. And now it's probably a little bit like more towards the back. We're going to be hit a little bit more. And I think, like you said, Chino Valley's 3-1. I think Fountain Hills is going to give us a run. And I think we just have to be prepared. And just like last year, we can't worry about anybody else but ourselves. And as long as we keep working on ourselves, it's hard to beat.
Perfect. Well, get out of here. We know you've got something else you've got to go take care of. So we'll see you next Wednesday. Good luck Friday night there at Fountain Hills homecoming night. So a lot of distractions for homecoming. Keep them focused.
That's the worst part of it, but it's the best part, right? We're here for the community and school, but man, there's way too much.
How many players are in the homecoming running here, King?
You know what? I don't even pay attention.
Oh.
That's not good. I'm gonna be honestly, I don't no clue. I don't know who's voting. I just know that they're playing powder puff and they're doing volleyball against each other, and like that's all I know.
Well, you'll just notice at halftime when one of your players is out on the field walking out instead of
where's this kid at? Oh, he's in the thing. Yeah, then I'll find out. Exactly.
They're playing a powder puff game. They do it every year. There was one year where my daughter was playing, and Sheahan was one of the officials, and my daughter tried to put a move on somebody, and she didn't bite, so she ran her over. And evidently
I don't know if she tried to put a move or she just ran right through her. Like, hey, let's call it what it is. There was no move.
There wasn't.
There was like she tried to truck stick in flag football and powder puff, and she did. She did.
And the other girl that
must be Hillary.
And the other it was Kendall.
Oh,
actually.
Kendall. Wow. All right.
And Coach said, "Hey, you have to go apologize." And Kendall said, "Coach, there's no saying sorry in football."
Hey, really quick, I got one question for you, Dale. Who would win in a fight now, Kendall or Hillary?
Oh, wow.
Oh, I think Kendall's always had an underlying simmering temper that like if you get her mad, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I know. I used to love making her mad, so that was fun. So, all right.
It's the quiet ones you have to worry about, right, Mike?
Yeah.
That's true. But I don't know if she's that quiet. So.
All right, get out of here. We'll see you next Wednesday.
I'll talk to you.
All right, see ya. So, I mean, one thing I love about this type of stuff, Dale, is, I mean, and I don't mean to, like, Fountain Hills, but, he's like, they're going to compete. They don't score on points on the offensive side. Scottsdale Christian going up to it. And the focus with homecoming, things like that. I mean, I can understand the worry side of it, but coaches kind of crack you up a little bit going into games.
Well, again, I think Coach Sheahan has become more media savvy. Last year, I think between him and I, we got ourselves in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I was getting yelled at for you guys, and I was like, I'm not even doing anything.
But I think he's becoming more savvy and no bulletin board material.
He was right on this, and yesterday was an interesting day. I had some people reach out to me. Somebody texted the text line and said, if you keep having him on the way they are, it's unfair that they're in 2A. I'm going to stop listening to your program. And I was like, whatever. It's just. My gosh, people. I don't know. It's a different world we live in, I guess we can say, coming up. But their schedule does get harder. That's the one thing I think people are missing right now. It's easy to look at their schedule so far and say they're blowing everybody out. They're getting hard. And they're on the road. The last two are at home, but like next week, they're on the road up there at Chino Valley. That's a long drive. Good team up there. So it's going to be fascinating to see how the end of the season happens here coming up for them, more so than the beginning. It's no different than last year. They started off hard and then got easy through the middle part, and they dominated some teams, right? It's just the opposite this year. So it's going to be fascinating to watch. But I don't know how you keep kids motivated with the way they're playing right now.
Well, because you got your eye on the prize at the end and do something that really, really, really difficult to do. Reason it's never been done in the NFL.
3 in a row.
To try and get 3 in a row.
You know what? I gotta remind me to ask him. I gotta ask him how many kids were on the team 2 years ago that are still on the team this year.
Right.
That got playing time, I should say. Because obviously there's JV kids and stuff going under that. So that'd be a fascinating number to find out.
Because this has come up with my buddies. I've actually went back and looked at our team pictures of the Cowboys. I think there's 14 guys who got all 3 rings.
That's a professional level.
And that's in a 4-year period.
And but 14 guys, that's not even enough to fill one side of the ball. Like, you can understand you're going to lose all the special team guys over 3 years, stuff like that. But you didn't even, offensive and defensive lines and things were completely upheavaled which can affect the team, obviously, going into it. So when we come back, we'll keep it rolling. Thanks to Mike joining us every Wednesday, of course. We got the NFL talk here coming up. Well, I got a stat for you on Cardinals wide receiver targets. To further drive home, the Cardinals don't care about their wide receivers and their offense, Dale.
And what do they need to do to move ahead of the Texans in the Power Bowl?
It's just disgusting. Chiefs and Texans. Come on back, folks, to the main event.